Hello, I'm Tim Smith, and welcome to another Monuments Monday. Now, you probably know, of course, that it's October. And in Gettysburg, that is the Apple Harvest Festival. And of course, it's the massive influx of people taking ghost tours. And you know, I don't know exactly how to explain the phenomenon, but ghost tours are a relatively new addition to our town's economic structure. I guess maybe it takes like 125 years or so for ghosts to materialize. And that was the issue. When I was a kid, there were no ghosts. No one talked about ghosts. I never heard a ghost story. But in the 1980s, there started to be some articles written about ghosts in the town, and Blue and Gray magazine did an edition on ghost tours. And of course, Mark Nesbitt wrote a book, Ghosts of Gettysburg. And then of course, I believe now maybe he has 8 or 9 Ghosts of Gettysburg books. In April of 1991, the newspaper announced that the Farnsworth House was starting to do ghost stories. And in 1994, Mark Nesbitt started a ghost walking tour of the town. At its height in Gettysburg, which I'm going to guess in my mind is about 2010, I counted 13 different ghost tours in the town. We don't have that many at the moment. I think there's just 5 or 6, depending on how you count. But you know, what's interesting to me is one of the ghost tours, or perhaps 2 of them, you actually buy a ticket online. They don't have a business in town, they don't have an office in town, and they just give you the address as Unity Park after you buy the ticket to meet your tour guide at a certain time. And often I'm meeting lost visitors on the street looking for 1 Lefevre Street to meet their ghost tour guide. Now, I'm sure it comes as no surprise to everybody that being a historian, I am not a big fan of the ghost tours. And I'm sure for me, it largely stems from the information that they are passing out to visitors, such as Jenny Wade running a brothel, or Weinbrenner Run being dammed up with all the bodies of the soldiers that were killed in the sharpshooter action, things like that. But I got to tell you, one of my favorite stories about one of the monuments, markers or tablets in the town, came to me from one of the ghost tour guides, and I just thought that this guy was a genius. I knew the guy. He was a very popular storyteller. I believe he is no longer with us. But basically, it's a story about the marker in front of one of the sycamore trees on Baltimore Street. And perhaps you know, at the time of the battle, there were 3 sycamore trees here along South Baltimore Street, and undoubtedly they were filled with bullets during the fighting, because one of them is no longer with us, one of the trees, and it got taken down, and we were able to count the rings. It appears the trees were planted about 1820 in the southern portion of the borough. That tree, the center of the 3 trees, came down a number of years ago, and actually a piece of the tree with the bullet hole in it can be found in Mr. G's old-fashioned homemade ice cream gift shop, if you want to check that out. But this is going to be marker number 42, and it's a marker that was placed by the Gettysburg Civil War Roundtable in 1979. Designating the fact that on November 19th, 1863, during the procession leading to the National Cemetery, Abraham Lincoln passed by this tree. And it is absolutely true. So I'm sure some of you have heard me tell the story before, but the marker is just around in front of the tree next to the sidewalk. And I think I like the monument because I am a person who always likes to overstate the obvious. Yes, the tree was here, and yes, Abraham Lincoln passed by this tree. But the ghost tour guide came up with this story, and he said that on the morning of November 19th, Abraham Lincoln was at DeWill's house, and perhaps he drank a little bit too much coffee. And then he went outside, got on a horse, and the procession was late getting started. So he was on that horse, for the better part of an hour, jostling around. And when Lincoln came down Baltimore Street on his way to the National Cemetery, he couldn't hold it any longer. So he stopped the procession, had the security come out around this tree behind me, and Lincoln did his business right here. Then, of course, he got on his horse and he went to the National Cemetery to deliver the greatest speech in American history. And according to this ghost tour guide, the town wanted to mark the significance of this site associated with the Gettysburg Address. So in 1979, they put this plaque on the sidewalk in front of the tree. But at the last moment, the town fathers thought best of it, and so they changed one letter on the plaque. And we'll let you figure out what that letter might be. Of course, that story that I just told is absolutely not true. But again, it's a really good story. And someone asked me the other day about my interest in the ghost tours. And I've said over and over again that I'm not a ghost person, but I'm interested in the Gettysburg ghost tour industry. And of course, I'm interested in all aspects of Gettysburg history. And I have a large collection of Gettysburg souvenir booklets of the history of the town, the battlefield, and all aspects of Gettysburg. And of course, I have a large collection of Gettysburg ghost books. So people ask me all the time, so I thought I'd lay them out so you could see all the different books that have been written over the years about the ghost tours in town. And I have Bob Wassell's books and Mark Nesbitt's books and individual books from the different tour guides that have been in Gettysburg over the years. So if you see something here that obviously I am missing, I'd appreciate it if you send your donations of Gettysburg tour books to the Adams County Historical Society so we can add it to our collection. Thanks for watching. And if you like the content that we put on our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can learn of our upcoming videos.